Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. I'm on the screened-in porch because it's kind of drizzling out and cold and dreary. So I'm going to shoot in the porch. So welcome to the porch. Um, Today's topic, why nervous systems can become highly sensitized. Get to that in a second. Let you listen to the birds. A cold, wet, dreary day. Fortunately, we had a nice day yesterday. Had some family and friends come over, and it was really nice. Got out on the lake, kayaked, fished. Good times. So relax. So, why some nervous systems can become highly sensitized. I think it is accumulation of events throughout our lives. Our brain's job is survival, safety. And it does a really great job in doing that. It's always looking out, saying, hey, is there something we need to be concerned with? Is there any danger present? And it does a great job. So it can start when we're tiny, even in the womb. The brain is always trying to keep us safe, so it's always making note of and storing any type of scary, dangerous stuff that happens. Sometimes it could be due to an overprotective parent, a health-conscious parent who catastrophizes everything, overreacts and says, oh my goodness, you skinned your knee, come here, oh my, that kind of stuff. It can be, bullies in school. It could be overbearing teachers, parents, cousins, neighbors, you name it, bullies, all sorts of stuff, relationships, finances, money, jobs, our own insecurities, and our own pressure to be perfect so we can stay out of trouble and not get in any type of danger with those around us. And in many cases, I think some health issues causes a person to become very hyper aware of the status of their body. This is both conscious but mostly unconscious, and you're not necessarily aware of it, but your body is always scanning to make sure you're okay. And in that case, I think the brain is operating perfectly. It's just operating at a very high sensitivity level. Sensitivities are a volume issue, so the more the brain perceives a certain thing as dangerous, it will be more sensitive to that thing. And so it's through a lifetime of things that we have a highly tuned nervous system. Doesn't mean it's broken, just means it's extra good. And it's overprotective and responding to things that are not truly dangerous as if they are. So what do we do about that? How do we get that to settle down? Well, it takes some time. We don't just say I'm safe, because that doesn't work. But we have to show the brain we're okay. And a lot of that is how we respond if we have symptoms cropping up. Because if we respond as if we're in a panic and we have this urgency to get rid of the symptoms, what we're conveying to the brain is danger, I'm in trouble. And that never settles things down. We want to show, and yes, tell. There is a cognitive part of this, which is the understanding what's going on, understanding that this is what's happening with you. And I think in many situations where people say, this happened and all of a sudden symptoms just came out of nowhere and exploded, right? I got 20 symptoms. It could be, a medication withdrawal. It could be getting COVID. It could be having surgery. It could be a divorce. It could be any number of things that can kind of fill the bucket, have it spill over. And then if we fall into panic as a result of this onslaught, it seems, of symptoms, and we stay in that panic, the symptoms can stick around, and in some cases they can multiply, because this now hyper-vigilant, hyper-aware nervous system is seeing more and more things to be concerned with, And the panic says we're in trouble, and we get even more sensitive. And so that's why I've been talking about for years that our response to symptoms has got to be the most important thing, that is the most important tool in your tool belt. Because it doesn't matter how well you use somatic track and journal and breathe and meditate and all that stuff. One, if you don't know what's going on and that you're actually not broken, you've just got a system that's cranked up to 10. So the knowledge is key, cognitively, intelligently, understanding that. But the knowledge alone isn't the cure. The knowledge alone isn't enough to turn off symptoms. We have to apply that knowledge by saying, oh, having a very symptomatic day, yeah, scary. I give myself a few minutes to allow the fear, to allow that yikes. But then I'll pull myself back in and say, all right, now let's respond to this. Let me allow these symptoms. Let me accept that they're here now. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation that this is forever. Acceptance just says, hey, this is where I am today. So I'm going to accept that that's where I am today, and I'm going to allow them to run their course, remaining as calm and reassuring as possible, trusting that this overzealous system will calm down in time, but it's going to take consistency on our part. Consistency really matters, because if you panic one day and then you're responding better and more calmly the next day, brain's not going to trust the calm if you were just panicking 24 hours ago. So consistency matters. So how does a brain and a nervous system get so activated? Life. And yeah, in some cases, life can be pretty lifey for many of us. But I do think that for most of us, we can kind of look back and pinpoint this one event that kind of tipped the bucket and spilled it all out, and really caused things to go a little bit haywire, if you will. But the good news is, this same brain that is activating the nervous system and making it overreactive to everything can be taught that it doesn't have to stay there. And it can reverse these symptoms. And we can create a nervous system which is much more in balance, doing its job still, keeping its eye out for you, but not taking every little sensation and amplifying it. It's really up to us. When we sense something, we have a new symptom, a new tweak, a new whatever it may be, that we go, I know what that is, and I'm not concerned. And if you can authentically be unconcerned, unbothered by what's going on, or less bothered, let's put it that way. Unbothered is asking too much. But if you can be less bothered and less bothered over time, and even less bothered, you're going to move towards indifference, which I've been talking about easily for 5 years. But indifference can't be manufactured. You just can't say, I don't care, when you do. So don't try. That sounds an awful lot like repression and pushing away emotions. But you can gradually, gently, over time, be less and less bothered, more and more reassured that you're in the right place. Start noticing your wins, progress, and recognize that this is all reversible. You can do it. You will do it. But it takes some time. It takes consistency. And it's a practice. You're going to make mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. I wasn't perfect. Nobody was perfect. Right? People still get better. But just do your best to respond as well as you can when symptoms are there. And people say, I'm not scared, Dan. I'm just frustrated. Yeah, I get it. Easy to be frustrated. What's more difficult is to be calm and allow the symptoms to do their thing. Say, hey, body, we're safe. Symptoms, I know you're there. And I'm okay with that. Some of you are looking at the screen right now going, you're nuts. How can I be okay with this? How do I get rid of them now? By being okay with it. Consistently over time. And that's all built on a foundation of knowing what is going on and that you're not truly sick or in harm's way. So I'm going to wrap it up here. About to jump into the 9 a.m. Monday group coaching call. Hope everybody's doing well. And I hope the sun comes out. This wet weather has really been a drag. Cold and wet up here. Not much of a lake stay. Anyway, love y'all. And as usual, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.